What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to share with you 3 recent returns that I just got back through the mail with their autographs and profile each of the players. And we're going to jump right into this one. And the first one is postmarked from Washington, and it is from former Baltimore Orioles pitcher Bullet Bob Reynolds on 1. 2, of course, his all-time Orioles card makes 3, and I actually have his Brewers rookie card that features Darryl Porter, who is no longer with us, but Jerry Bell is still around, so I might send this to Jerry after I get done talking about him in this video. So let me tell you about Bob Reynolds and his career in baseball. Bob Reynolds, a Washington native, was drafted in the first round of the 1966 draft, 17th overall by the San Francisco Giants out of high school. Bob garnered the nickname Bullet Bob as he could hit 100 miles per hour on the pitching radar with his pitches. Bob was immediately signed to the Giants rookie ball affiliate his first year, and he flourished to eventually get a promotion to single A that year, posting a combined record of 10-4 and a 2.15 ERA in those minor league affiliates his first year in 1966. Bob would spend 1967 in rookie ball, but he would only appear in 8 games, which I would assume he was injured that season. But he would bounce back in 1968, getting a shot at Double-A, posting an 8-6 record in 18 starts. Well, after the 1968 season, Bob was not protected by the Giants, and he was selected by the Montreal Expos in the expansion draft. Bob would be assigned to the Expos AAA affiliate, and he would appear in 28 games, starting 10 for the Expos, and would actually get a call-up on September 19th at just 22 years old, making his major league debut for the Montreal Expos. Well, the best way I can put it is Bob made 1 appearance in 1969, and it was not a good appearance. In just 1 1/3 innings, he gave up 3 earned runs, 6 runs overall, gave up 3 hits, walked 3, and struck out 2. So in his first outing, there was 1.1 innings pitched. That was Bob's career as a Montreal Expo. The following season in 1970, Bob would not get a call up to the major leagues, and he would spend the entire season in AAA for the Expos, posting a 7-win, 15-loss record. 1971 would begin the same as it did in 1970, where Bob would start out in AAA for the Expos, and then the Expos decided to trade him to the St. Louis Cardinals for then veteran pitcher Mike Torres. So this is how Mike Torres became a Montreal Expo. Well, his time in St. Louis didn't last long either. A little longer in his tenure in Montreal, I guess you would say, where in St. Louis he appeared in 4 games before the Cardinals decided to package him again in a trade on July 29th to the Milwaukee Brewers for Ted Kubiak. So this is how he became a Milwaukee Brewer. So now, if you're keeping track, this is his rookie card per se, but he's already pitched for 2 other organizations in the major leagues before the Brewers. His time in Milwaukee wasn't long either, as he appeared in less games than he did as a Cardinal, appearing in just 3 games for the Brewers that season to finish out the 1971 season. The 71 season concluded, and he was a Milwaukee Brewer. However, after going to spring training in 1972 with the Milwaukee Brewers, right before the season started, the Brewers traded him to the Baltimore Orioles. So the Orioles found new life in Bob, and they assigned him to their AAA affiliate, primarily as a relief pitcher. He appeared in 45 games and posted a 1.71 ERA in AAA that year for the Orioles. That garnered him a promotion for 3 games to finish out the year in Baltimore in 1972. Well, in 1973, there was no holding back of Bob, and he actually appeared in 42 games for the Orioles that year in the majors, posting a 7-5 record with a 1.95 ERA. I mean, that's pretty untouchable. An earned run average under 2, and this guy's throwing 100 miles per hour. The following year, in 1974, he would follow that up with a 7-5 record again, but this time his ERA would go up to 2.73 in 54 appearances. In 1975, he started the year with the Orioles, but he appeared in just 7 games when the Orioles decided to trade him to the Detroit Tigers on May 29th for Fred Holdsworth. He wouldn't stay long in Detroit, as on August 26th, the Cleveland Indians claimed Bob off of waivers from the Tigers. So between 3 teams in 1975, he appeared in 33 games. After the 75 season, he would return to the Cleveland organization in 76. However, they would delegate him just to AAA, and he would spend the entire season appearing in 45 games for the Indians' AAA affiliate. After his time with the Indians organization, Bob would go on to play in Mexico and then would also play in Japan with the Taio Whales in the 1977 season. In 6 major league seasons, Reynolds posted a 14-win, 16 record with a 3.15 ERA with 21 saves in 140 games. So Bullet Bob, just like Bullet Bob Turley, guy could bring the heat. He just, for whatever reason, couldn't stay with a team other than the Orioles for a duration of a long time. So kind of bounced around the league a little bit, playing for all those teams. But I'm very happy to add him to the all-time Orioles collection. And like I said, we'll see if maybe Jerry Bell signs his card for me next. Moving on to the next one. All right, so this next one, and it is former Oriole Wes Stock on 2 of 2, showing him as an Oriole. This, of course, is him on his all-time Orioles card. And this is him with the Kansas City A's after his tenure with the Orioles. So let me tell you about Wes Stock and his career in baseball. Wes Stock, also a Washington native, attended high school in Washington and also attended Washington State University. After signing in 1956, he was assigned to the Class C affiliate of the Orioles, where he posted a 14-6 record in 23 games started for the Orioles League C affiliate. Well, unfortunately, in 1957 and 58, Wes left the Orioles organization to serve his country. He lost both the 1957 and 58 season due to his military obligation. After coming back from his military service, Stock actually made his major league debut on April 19, 1959, at 25 years old for the Baltimore Orioles. He would appear in just 7 games in relief for the Orioles, but he would spend the majority of that season in AAA as kind of a spot starter relief pitcher, where he posted a 6-7 record for the Orioles in 1959. 1960 would also be a split between the Orioles big club and the AAA affiliate. In the majors, he appeared in the bullpen 17 times, posting a 2-2 record for the Orioles. 1961, he would spend the entire season with the Orioles, where he would appear in 35 games and posting a 5-0 record with a 3.01 ERA. In 1962, he would appear in 53 games, posting a 3-2 record, and in 1963, arguably another great season for Wes, he would post a 7-win, 0-loss record with a 3.94 ERA in 47 games. Going into the 1964 season, he would start the year with Baltimore. However, he would be traded on June 15, 1964 to the Kansas City Athletics for Charlie Lau. Once Stock got to Kansas City, there was no looking back that season in 1964, as he appeared in 50 games for the Kansas City A's, posting a 1.94 ERA and a 6-3 record. In 1965, he returned to the A's bullpen. However, his success was not as great as it was the previous year. He appeared in 62 games that season, but his ERA slipped to above 5, and he posted a 0-4 record. In 1966, he got a little bit of magic back, and he appeared in 35 games for the Kansas City A's that year, posting a 2.66 ERA and a 2-2 record at 32 years old. The following year, in 1967, he would appear in just 1 game for the Kansas City A's before they would release him from his contract. Well, for most players, being released from your contract at the end of your career is a very devastating thing, but this was not the case for Wes. Wes was actually immediately offered the pitching coach job on July 13th, 1967, throughout the end of the season with the Kansas City A's pitching staff. After that season, he decided to leave to go to be the minor league pitching coordinator for the New York Mets from 1968 to 69. So he would have worked with a young Nolan Ryan at that point in his career. After the 69 amazing Mets season, he decided to become the pitching coach for the Milwaukee Brewers from 1970 to 72. He would then return to the A's, who were now in Oakland at that point, and would be the pitching coach from 1973 to 76 for the Oakland A's. He would then leave the A's to become the Seattle Mariners pitching coach from 1977 to 81, and then he would return to Oakland for a third time from a stint from 1984 to 1986, after a stint as a broadcaster in the Mariners booth from 82 to 83. So after his career, Stock actually had a pretty solid coaching career for many years as well as a broadcaster, but one of the things that is notable about Stock is over all the parts of the 9 major league seasons that he was in the majors, Stock won 27 of 40 decisions as a starter with a winning percentage of 6.75. You would think if you won 27 of 40 decisions and you have a 67% chance of winning, you would have more chance to be a starting pitcher. However, maybe I guess the Kansas City A's thought he was more lights out as a relief pitcher than he was anything else, because he found his big success with Kansas City. He was good with the Orioles, but his bigger success was unbelievably with a pretty poor Kansas City A's team. So thank you, Mr. Stock, for signing these, and we will move on to the next envelope. All right, so this final one is postmarked from Richmond, Virginia. And this is a return from former Pittsburgh Pirates great shortstop Gene Alley on 2 of 2, one including his Topps game card, and a 1968 All-Star with a nice hole punch right through the corner there. So let me tell you about Gene Alley and his great career as a Pittsburgh Pirate. Gene Alley grew up in Richmond, Virginia, where he attended high school, and he signed as an amateur free agent right before the 1959 season with the Pirates. Well, the Pirates tested the 18-year-old and assigned him to the Class D League, where he responded batting .287 for the Class D affiliate for the Pirates. The next year in 1960, he would be moved up to the Class C, B, and AAA affiliates of the Pirates, not making the majors when they won the World Series. That would be soon to come. The following year in 1961, he would appear in 135 games at Class A for the Pirates. In 1962, he would split time between Class A and AAA, appearing in 124 games. And in 1963, he would spend most of the majority of the season in AAA, appearing in 146 games playing shortstop for the Pirates AAA affiliate. Well, in the fall of 1963, he would get a September call-up, and he would make his major league debut at 23 years old for the Pirates playing shortstop. He would appear in just 17 games, finish out the 63 season, but in 1964, he would make the club, and he would be a platoon-type utility infielder, where he posted 81 games under his belt in 1964. Well, in 1965, the job was fully his, and he appeared in 153 games for the Pirates, playing shortstop at 24 years old. He would maintain his position at starting shortstop the following year in 1966, and he would team with Bill Mazeroski to set a major league record that season that still stands to this day, where the duo set a combined record of 161 double plays that season. They also joined a select list of 8 shortstop second basemen to both win the Gold Glove in the same season. Alley would go on to win 2 Gold Gloves. He would make the 1967 and 1968 All-Star team representing the Pittsburgh Pirates. There he is in 68. However, in 1969, he would be hampered by some injuries and only appear in 82 games. Well, in 1970, he would bounce back from being limited in those games, and he would have one of the most rarest things in baseball for an offensive player, because right at the end of the season, on September 2nd, 1970, Gene hit a inside the park grand slam in Montreal against the Montreal Expos at Jerry Park Stadium. With the bases loaded, facing Carl Morton, Alley hit a line drive which landed in front of center fielder Boots Day, who slipped on the wet grass. The ball rolled all the way to the wall in deepest center field, and all the base runners, including Alley, scored on the inside the park grand slam. I guess one could argue if a guy slipped, wouldn't that be an error? But I guess not. But by 1973, he only appeared in 76 games, and due to hampering injuries after his 11-year career, Alley decided to call it quits as a Major League Baseball player. Alley posted a lifetime .254 batting average in the major leagues. He appeared in 1,195 games, and as I mentioned, he received 2 Gold Gloves during his tenure there, and he was also part of the 1971 World Series champion Pittsburgh Pirates. He was inducted into the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame in the late 90s, and I'm assuming that he is enjoying retirement in Virginia, as this is postmarked from Richmond, Virginia. So I want to thank Mr. Alley for taking the time to sign for me. I also want to thank Mr. Stock for signing my all-time Orioles card, along with some of the TCMA cards and an original 62 Topps as well. I also want to thank Mr. Bob Reynolds for signing a couple of his cards for me as well, featuring him as an Oriole, also an all-time Oriole card, and also that 1972 Rookie Stars Brewers card, even though he played just a handful of games for the Brewers. So I hope you learned a little bit about a few baseball players you may not have been aware of. All of these guys were pretty solid ball players during their heyday. I look forward to your comments below, and as always, happy collecting.